Hello everyone, as usual, I am so happy that you found me and that I found you. I'm asking you to hit the subscribe button to keep up with my latest videos. I am talking about some current events that's going on that's relevant, I believe, in people's lives, a fresh new outlook on old subjects. I try to keep them rotating so you can view older videos that I have made. But today I want to do something that's absolutely wonderful and completely indulgent of myself. I am going to give my own book a book review. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm going to be truthful too. Want to see. No bias. Just me telling you this is a good read. It's a read. It's a legacy read to be passed down from generation to generation that boosts self-esteem and confidence as a woman. My book is called When Will Eve Be Forgiven? And that title alone lets you know, when will Eve, the first lady, onward, the first woman onward, when is she going to be seen as the beautiful creation that she is? The one with her strength and cleverness that can take nothing and turn it into something with the blessing and helping of God, how she was made. Many things have been said and continue to be said about a woman, especially when it's a power play going on or trying to control people. We'll see that certain scriptures are pulled out to, as they say, put you back in your place, or for you to stay in your lane, or for you not to speak, and you don't get to say over men. It's like, be quiet, you can't speak, let your husband speak. And I'm like, oh, okay, I let my husband speak, but I'm talking to you. You're not my husband. I don't have to sit back and let you speak. It didn't say that every man be over you and you come in next to hoping in teamwork and companionship with discussions on an equal playing field. It didn't tell you had to submit to every man you meet. But they men kind of believe that whenever there's a man standing up, all the women submit. It's just to your husband. It's not every man that was created. So my book, When Will Eve Be Forgiven, is totally taking some of those comments that are like daggers to us sometimes, that tell us we're guilty, we were the ones that messed up all the world and everything, and we carry that on our back. And I wrote this book to let you know that we received a punishment from God, and that was to have pain while bearing children. We're not eternally cursed like the snake was, to crawl on his belly and to forever be a scorn that should be scorned and should be seen as an enemy, to be killed and dismembered, tore down, gotten rid of. That is not for us. Men were given to work by their sweat of their brow, and they do that, and nobody's bringing them up about anything. But anywho, this is to live self-esteem in womanhood. He created us. We were wonderful. We were beautiful. We were everything he desired us to be, okay? And everything is known from God, by God, the beginning, the middle, the end. So women that are bowing their head every time the Genesis story of creation is told, that you still carry guilt, you still carry shame. Your ancestors were forgiven, and now it's time for you to live in your forgiveness, all right? Now, the back of the book, I'm going to read you the back of the book, which tells you what's inside the book. Pay attention and listen. The back of the book says, history has said women are a necessary evil, a natural temptation, a desirable calamity, a domestic peril, a deadly fascination, and painted ills. That's Christendom. Did you hear all of that we are said to be? How can anyone hold their head up with pride and walk and be amongst people when it says we are necessary evil? That means you have to put up with us because you need to procreate and you don't want to be alone, so you put up with our evilness. So women are a necessary evil, a natural temptation. That right there saying that it's natural, it's within men to be tempted by them when we're supposed to turn from temptation. But they are natural. They don't even have to do anything. Walk by, smile by the eye. You tempted. Men are tempted. So the man get off of being in control of him. It says we are a natural temptation, a desirable calamity. Even though they know we're a mess and we mess up things, they said we're still desirable, a desirable calamity, a domestic peril. Now that's living in danger and peril and stress, anxious, and domestic being within your home. A deadly fascination. I believe that's true. They're not trying to figure us out to know how to live with us better, but we are a fascination of beauty, strength, and power, and how we, like I said, can get things done, and others can't. We can multitask and all of that. So we are a fascination to the point of very distracted men, and that we will see this outward beauty, competence, and everything. And the man may not look deeper to see if they're compatible, if there's companionship, and they just fell in. Then they look up in a year or two, and it's like, oh my goodness, who is this I'm with? Okay, and painted eels, and even back then, we did our best to look good, smell good, and we did all of that, but also painted. People make up their personality that they want the world to see. It's a public person, a private person, and then actually true person, okay? So we live in three places, and the painted eels is what we put on, the flash of color that draw attention to us, like the peacocks, the display of color, the male, to draw in. So we're painted eels. We do draw in, and they're saying eels, then you become unwell, unbalanced. I think it's better instead of ill, like you gotta have a disease, okay? So Christendom said that. Now this other person said women are the gateway to hell. Women are the gateway to hell. Oh my goodness. How are we perceived? And do we perceive ourselves as lowly too? It's not a fight. It's not a battle against man versus woman. But it is time to reflect and see our wholeness and completeness and appreciation and joy in exactly how God created us, woman. And we are not a gateway to hell. That is so harsh, isn't it? Women do not have a soul and do not belong to the human race, as shown by many passages of the Holy Scripture. And that was Valentinus Acidalius. He said, we have no soul and do not belong to the human race, as shown by the words of the Bible. And he must have skipped Genesis, when we were created for man. He must have never looked in Song of Solomon, when Solomon says how beautiful and lovely a woman is. He must have never looked at Deborah, who God said, I need you to go out in front so men can follow you into battle. He must have been very short-sighted on his passages that women are soulless and don't even belong to the human race. He right there is just a slap in God's face for his creation. Everything he created, he said, it is good, it is pleasing, it is something desirable. And this man said, we don't have a soul. And some of the leaders, the old hats, will continue to tell you and define womanhood. But women, we need to look at the word ourselves, look at the holy scriptures ourselves, and see our perfection, to see how wonderfully made we are. And that's what this book does. So that's what history said. And this is what my book, When Will Eve Be Forgiven? This is what my book does. It clarifies the statements that have been made about women. Okay, I look into them, I turn them inside out, I look at the origins of the words in Greek and Hebrew and what it meant in the total passage, and then in the entirety of the Bible, how things are. So this book I'm trying to get you to buy, that's going to be a legacy, clarifies how God feels about and define women in Scripture. God did have a feeling about us, and he did define us in Scripture. Why the Apostle Paul is not a chauvinist. People think he is because he gave rules for marriage, and the rule for the church, don't speak, wait till you get home and ask your husband, and that is completely clarified in this book, why he said that in that particular place for that particular church. Okay? And why women should forgive themselves first instead of relying on others to establish their self-worth within the Christian community. You will be empowered after you read this. And a lot of Christian women say, I am submissive, and that's what I want to be, and people don't understand, and that's what you should do. This book here is not targeting, defaming, and demeaning, and making women that think total submission to their husband. We don't demean you. This is not a hate book. And some of you who have the definition of feminism tarnished, it's corrupted. It's not the definition. This is not feminist trying to make a feminist woman. This is actually looking at womanhood as God looks at womanhood and sees womanhood, and you will be shocked. You will be shocked at the beauty there is with the creation of woman. So this book is just absolutely fabulous, great for any, please, Bible studies, group studies on womanhood. It does. I'm sure feminist women would enjoy it. I think it can align with feminism, but that wasn't its point. You can do this with your daughter and sit down and talk with her to build her up, that she stand that no man tells her her place, or she should be silent, and what to do in her life. Now, there is order in the world, and this book does pay respects to order, but I am absolutely telling you, you're missing out if you do not have this book and you are a woman in the 21st century. I want to read the poem that's in front of the book, and I want you to see and meditate. I believe there's no coincidence. There's no coincidence you've been with me this far, listening to me in this book review. I believe it's divine timing, divine direction, and I think you should meditate on getting this book. I just believe it. A seed planted that will grow later. I have in this book, it's a nice, hefty book. I have 18 chapters. And you're like, oh my goodness, that's so much to read. Oh my goodness, that's so much to read. But this is the thickness of the book right here. It's got really big print. I did that so older women can read it with ease. Okay? So the print is just wonderful. The message is loving and caring and powerful. And it is fact and truth, and you can look it up yourself. And like I said, it is great for discussion. So this is the poem in front of my book. I walk, I breathe, I love, I smile. I wear my hair in an ethnic style. Skin of ebony, eyes of chocolate brown. No earthly creature notices my heavenly crown. A cross I carry on my scar-free back. My Lord, holy divine, holy human, nothing he lacks. Descendant of Adam, cursed still by Mother Eve, 3 daughters I bore, each birthing I did grieve. I am salt, I am light, a princess among kings. My Father's glory contained within me and all Christian things. I stumble, I sigh, I despair, I sometimes cry, yet remain the image of God in the mirror of my eye. How perfect, how complete I am, and who I proclaim. Gift of God, heaven hears with each voicing of my name. I am the creature molded daily by the craftsman called Creator. I look towards my example and strive to be imitator. I am woman, mother, sister, and yes, even wife. I am that vessel which God lovingly breathed into life. It's so simple. Promises of love forever written in time to stay. I am imperfect, yet perfection of God. I am Imago Dei. And Imago Dei means image of God. And so the question has always been, if the image of God was Adam, what was Eve? And that ball got dropped some kind of way as the Bible was codified and placed together, what was to be kept and what was not to be kept. But you got to guarantee, you must guarantee, like we said, there are people who are racist, and they like, oh no, I don't want to associate with brown or black people, and yet they're going to go to heaven, and somehow they don't believe any black or brown people are going to be there as their sisters and brothers in Christ, as on earth as in heaven, you know? So it's the same thing. Why don't you think God has this side that we define as woman, Adam named her, that she also was in the image of God, that he breathed life into? But we of humans are in the image, and women are human. So there is something that needs to be looked at. I hate to say feminine, because when you think of Adam, you don't think, oh, God is masculine. Oh, God is stereotypical, you know, macho. So I hate to say feminine, because that word is not. And I read a book that said women can never be a part of the biblical story, because we haven't yet found the language to explain her in relationship to God, because God gave us the same thing. He gave Adam the same breath of life and creation. Sorry about that. And so it's the language hasn't come. All right, everybody. I love you so much, and I hope you will go out and purchase my book, When Will Eve Be Forgiven? I give it 5 stars, and I say it's on Amazon.com. It's under $20. Do a round table book discussion. Put comments here if you want to ask me stuff or want me to set up a conversation. I will do so. But get this book, especially in 2020, as so much is changing. We need to do inward change as well as outward change. All right. Thank you so much.